Hi, and welcome back to Glassboxed, writing automatic Java tests. Today we are going to have a look at pop-ups and windows. We will look at what pop-ups and windows are, why a website would or might have pop-ups and windows, and we will write a test to cater for pop-ups and windows. Right, really quickly, so what is a pop-up and what is a new window? So a pop-up on a web page is effectively an alert. Alerts are usually presented to a user for confirmation of the success or failure of an action. For instance, when filling in, say, a form, if a field is left blank and you try and submit it, you may be presented with some kind of alert saying that fields are left blank. So for instance, if I click send here now, we get an alert saying name field is empty. Okay, so let's just fill in that. If we now press it again, then we get a different error for a different part of the form, and so on. So pop-up are just messages alerting the user that something that was expected wasn't adhered to, or another way to think about it is there was an error on the page and this message is telling you what the error is. And that's what pop-ups usually are. They're not too complex or complicated to understand. They are very, very simple and very straightforward, one would assume. Right, so the other thing we're also going to look at as part of this video tutorial are windows. So let me explain. So this is obviously a window, so this browser is a window, but sometimes when you click on a link you actually get another additional window open up on top of the existing window. So let's just say the current window that we have open up now is the parent window. If we click on a link, that opens up another window. For instance, this new link here, the terms link, this opens up another window, if you like, a child window, which is in this case just the terms to the site. So it is very common for websites to have links that open up additional windows. The reason for this is to prevent the user from changing what page they're currently on. So let's just say in this instance we happened to be on the contact page, and let's just say I was filling this in, and let's just say if I clicked on this and this navigated to a different site, I would have lost this information. So it just makes sense to have this as a pop-up so that I can retain the information. The real reason why someone usually has pop-ups on the website is because they don't want whatever current parent page they are on to be navigated away from. And that's effectively what windows are. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to effectively just write a test to test a pop-up and test a window. Sounds simple enough, so let's give it a go. So here is a test I prepared earlier. It's it's the skeleton of a test. It just has a driver, and I have a before and after. In the before, I instantiate the driver and I navigate it to our website, and as part of the after method I just close the driver. The reason why I've got a before and after is because we've got two tests, so it's just a little bit more easier to manage and prevents me from duplicating code unnecessarily. So let's begin. Let's write a test to test the alert or the pop-up of the website. So let's begin. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to navigate to the contact page Okay. Just in case if someone hasn't been following these videos, just for the benefit. So what this will do is this will use the instance of driver, and it will call the find element method, and it will find something by ID and click on it. So if you really quickly visit the ID of this link, because this is where we're trying to navigate to the contact page. So when we navigate to the home page, we need to click on this link. If we just have a quick look at the source, the ID for that was contact_link. So let's copy that here and paste it. So now what this will do is this will navigate to the contact page and this will navigate to the home page by default here, and then click on the contact link. And after that we want to do the same thing, but this time we will quite simply just click on the submit message button. So if we go back, we're just going to click on the send button, which will generate an error. In this case, an alert with name field is empty. So again, let's get the ID for this. So it's called submit message. Copy that, go back, paste it in. Paste it in the right place is probably a good start. There we go. Right, so now what will happen is we'll navigate to the contact page and we'll click on the message. Now, to actually handle alerts using WebDriver is exceptionally straightforward. What we need to do is make an instance of the alert class, and this is how we would do it. So let me just write the code out really quickly, and I will explain. Right, so here what we're doing is we're using the instance of the driver to switch to something else. So when we say driver.switch_to, what we're saying is I would like the instance or the control of the driver that the current page is on to switch to something else. And in this instance what we're saying is driver switch to an alert box. And in this case it's not a problem because we will only have the one alert. So what we're doing is we're saying driver switch to alert, and we're copying this information over into the instantiated version of this alert here, and then we can access anything we want on the alert via this instance here. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to make sure we definitely have the alert method. Sorry, that we've definitely captured the alert, the correct alert. We're just gonna print out the alert message. So actually, before I do that, if I go back, if we just do alert dot, this will populate a drop-off list down, which tells us what methods we can call on the alert. If it effectively prints out the API for the alert class. So in this case, we want to just do get text and just print out the text in our console, just so we can see what's happening. Right, so when we have an alert, what I want to do is just accept it. Alerts traditionally only have the one button on them. So if we again really quickly go back and we press send, there's only the one button on them. Alerts usually don't have multiple buttons. You can manipulate alerts if you want, or message boxes if you want, and add more stuff to it. But in this case, that's slightly out of scope for what we're trying to achieve here. We just want to click on the button. So alert.accept does that. It just clicks on the OK and closes it. But just to give our test a little bit of a robustness, we're just gonna quickly assert that the message in the alert box contains something that we expect it to contain. So if I just do this, so here what we're saying is assert that the alert message contains name, and there you go. So why would someone want to write a test for an alert box? Well, this is a good example. Let's just say someone's pushed code and it's broken the errors. To you, might not be such a big deal, but let's just say someone's navigating to this site for the first time and they're trying to fill in this form and they've got no idea what's wrong. I mean, yes, okay, given that there's only 4 fields, it should be pretty obvious. But let's just say we've got a field which has multiple different fields and multiple different calculations, and it isn't obvious to someone. If the alert stopped working, then that could pose a problem. So the ideal kind of person would write messages for alerts, and this would ensure that whenever the test runs, as long as the alerts are working, then we haven't broken our form. So from a testing perspective, that's why you'd want to write messages for pop-ups. Pop-ups are incredibly important in that they are easy to implement and they give little information, but they actually give very, very meaningful information. They help one to navigate between errors and problems without having to clog up your customer service. Right, so we've written tests to test our alert pop-up. Now we're going to look at how to handle windows. So quickly revisiting what kind of scenario we're trying to do. We're going to go to the home page. There's no point in going to any other page. We don't really need to. What we're going to do is we're going to come to the home page and we're going to tell driver that this page is the parent page. And what we're going to do next, we're going to click on terms, and then once we clicked on this page, we're just going to do something to confirm that the driver is currently in control of this particular page. We're then just going to close this mini browser and return back to our original page, and then again confirm that we are indeed on this page. So let's do that. So the first thing we need to do, like I said, is we need to somehow tell driver what our parent page is, and that's quite straightforward. All we'll do is driver dot get window handle, and what this will do is this will get the current window that driver is on. So if we now do string parent window, I think that's what we said. What we're doing is get window handle returns a string, i.e. the name of the window, and we're just going to save it here. So our parent window, in this case the home page, is now stored here. Why do we need to store it? It's because when we eventually access any other window and we want to come back, we need to tell driver where to go back, and this is how we can do that. So we won't use this information right away, but this will be needed later on. So the next thing we're going to do is window find element, is we're going to actually click on the link to open the new window. So again, let's quickly navigate to our home page, get the page source, and look at that term link and see if there's anything in there we can use. So here's the link here. Here's the anchor tag for it, and it has an ID of footer underscore term, which is well, it's unique on the page and it's easy for us to access. So let's do that. We're just going to say click on that, paste it in. It's surprisingly how I managed to always incorrectly paste things in the wrong place. Alright, fantastic. Now this is the tricky part. What we need to do is we need to use a for loop, in this case a for each loop. So I hope you know what a for loop is, but really quickly, a for loop lets us look through a collection of things, and that's pretty much it. That's the purpose of a for loop. What we do with the items we find in a collection of things is up to us, but the purpose of the for loop is to give us control over looking over a number of things grouped together in one place. So what we're going to do is we're going to in the for loop we're going to give a string, and we're going to say the current window, and the items we're going to look through are the actual window. Driver get handles. Oops. Right, so let me explain what is actually happening here. So here we're saying driver dot get window handles. see there's a difference between this and this. The two things, although they are similarly named, they actually do two different things. So that's probably something to note. So here we're getting a single handle, or in other words, the current handle that we're on. Here what we're doing is we're getting handles. So this isn't single, this is plural, in that we're getting more than one. So what this means is we're using driver to get all the current windows that are currently open, which are linked to the driver. And for whatever current window that we have open, we're saving it in this string. So another way to think of it is get the name of a window that's currently open and save it in current window. So what we're going to do is, now that we have means of getting all the windows and assigning it to a current window at that point in time, we're going to use the driver.switchTo method again. So you remember this from the alert test. Switch2 allows us to switch, quite cleverly named, to another window or something else which isn't currently part of the parent window, and we can use it to switch to another window. So in this case we're going to switch to the current window, i.e. whatever other window that is opened. So here what we've done is we've just switched to the current window. Now we know as part of our test, when we click on the terms, only one window opens. Therefore there's only ever the one. So we can quite happily just switch to the one. You might have situations where you open up multiple different windows. So you might want to have some if conditions here as well, or just some means of checking that the window you're supposed to be on is the window you're on. So for example, you can do something like an if statement saying if current window dot equals terms, then switch to that current window, otherwise don't switch, keep on looking, that kind of thing. But anyway, back to the point. So this would have switched to our window. So what we said was, as part of our test scenario, was once we switched, we want to confirm that we have definitely switched. So what I'm going to do is just print out the current URL of the current window we're on. So again, if I go back, click on terms. So the current URL here is webapp/terms.html, different to webapp/index.html. So as long as it prints out the terms, that means we've definitely switched. Next, I'm just gonna close. So what this would do is this would close the current window that the driver has control of. Once we've closed, we're gonna switch back to our parent window, and this is where this information that we stored earlier comes in really handy. And just to make sure that we are indeed back in control of the window that we expect to be on, driver dot get current URL. Perfect. So quickly looking over this, what will happen is we will save the current window we're on. We're going to click on the terms link. We are then going to switch to that window. We're going to print out its current URL. We're going to close the terms window. We're going to switch back to our parent window, and finally we're going to print out the current URL. So let's run this test individually first. So if I just right click inside this test, that should just run just the alert test. Oh, okay, run both. Alright, that's fine. It's fine. We can still see the outcome of both. As I say, it's gone to the contact page, click on send, send the alert, close the window. Perfect. And it's printed out the text in the window as well. Perfect. It's gonna run our next test now. And so what it did was it opened the window, it printed out its URL, and then it closed and it printed out the home URL. Perfect. This is pretty much what we expected. And that's pretty much it for this video, folks. We have covered two different concepts, both of which effectively boil down to using the driver instance and switch to other opened windows or alerts. And that's it. If you enjoy my video and find they bring some new knowledge or insight into writing WebDriver tests, then please subscribe and rate. If you have any questions or video suggestions, then please leave a comment below. Many thanks for watching. Until next time, ciao!